on this Sunday, we had stories coming from England about Liverpool trying to hijack the deal for Antoine Semenyo. What's the situation now? Let me explain to you what's the story. Liverpool have always been calling for Semenyo. They started calling in November, they continued calling before Christmas, and they kept on calling during the recent days to understand the situation. But I can guarantee to you that as of tonight, Sunday night, I don't know what's...
£35 million. He's now been given permission to undergo his medical for Liverpool, which is going to happen in London. But this, Bella, is a huge deal for Arne Slot.
Storylines today is Manchester City pushing to complete a deal for the Bournemouth forward, and the Etihad is set to be his preferred destination. Jules and Frank still with us. Jules, how close is this?
So we're only at the beginning. I was told tonight, in terms of negotiations, certainly between the two clubs, more than City and the players. But the thing with Semenyo, he's got a release clause in his contract for this January. So it's very simple, £65 million. If City are ready to pay that, there's nothing that Bournemouth will be able to do. He will be a Manchester City player if he can find an agreement with them, which looks likely. City is his favourite destination. More that he's ruled out Chelsea, who were interested. He's ruled out Spurs, who were interested. There was Manchester United. Liverpool were kind of looking at it too, in a certain way, but nothing like City. So I think unless something really bad happens, it looks to me that this one will be happening in January. And we can discuss if City really needs Semenyo right now. But I think what Guardiola likes a lot is, one, his ability to press and counter-press. He's physically a machine. That there's probably more goals and assists in him than there will ever be in Jeremy Doku. As much as we love him, as talented as it is in terms of dribbling, in terms of finishing and goals and assist involvement, if you want, Semenyo is a level above Jeremy Doku, and Semenyo can play on the left, on the right. That also shows, I think, for me, certainly that Oscar Bob or Omar Marmoush are not really anymore in the City plans. They're a different type of player to Semenyo, but they had their chance. They could have probably played on that left-hand side or be the backup to Doku. But for Guardiola and City to pay that much money to go for Semenyo, very likely to play on that left-hand side mostly, is because the other two didn't make the cut.
So let's discuss that. Do City need Semenyo?
I'm not so sure they do. I mean, Walker recently has been scoring goals and playing well. You got Semenyo. I mean, Oscar Bob's been injured, so he couldn't play anyway. Omar Marmoush for me is just, I mean, he's there to cover for Haaland as much as anything else. I'm not so sure they need him. And I've got to say, the first thing that came into my head when Jules kind of intimated that Semenyo wants to go to City, I'm thinking, Semenyo's not a guy that turns around and goes backwards. He's not a guy that does that. I mean, we've been wanting City to be more direct and take more chances going forward for the last 3-4 years. Semenyo does that, but is that really what Pep wants? I'm not so sure.
Frank, why did you say why then?
Yeah, because why do they need him? And it's when Stevie was wondering that Semenyo would come to Manchester City and why Pep Guardiola wanted him, and really why? Because that's the thing. I put myself on Semenyo's feet and I say, where should I go? And it's terrible for Semenyo. Nowhere in the first teams like Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Aston Villa. They don't need him. That's terrible to say. Yeah, he can be a plus. For sure, he can be a plus. He's a fantastic player, terrific one. But they don't really need him. That's what it is. So if he's to be on the bench because you have to settle down to compete against Doku, well, as Stevie said, I like Doku. He scored goal. It was the first that I would put in the list right now if I'm Pep Guardiola. So why do you want to leave Bournemouth to be on the bench for, yes, bigger club, but to not play? That's my concern about him, because that guy needs to play. He's a terrific player. He should play somewhere, but maybe not at the top of the Premier League.
So the word is, Jules, that Liverpool and Manchester United remain interested. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. With Chelsea and Spurs, I think he's highly, highly rated by the top clubs in the Premier League.
So with that in mind, and with if you want playing time, and you've got this ambition, which apparently he has to win silverware though as well, where are you looking at going?
Right now, I think Liverpool have the greatest need, given injuries and, well, I mean, I know at some point Mo Salah's going to come back from the Africa Cup of Nations, but given Liverpool's poor start to the season and a need for that attacking threat, I think that's an easy fit for Semenyo, especially if you're thinking of winning silverware. I understand Manchester United's continued interest. I think he gets into that team every bit as easily, and then it becomes a question of, well, who do you see as being more likely to win silverware or win silverware sooner between those two? But I'm with most of the guys here. I just don't see... the City link to me doesn't make an awful lot of sense. You've got Foden looking back to his best. Cherki continuing to get better. So when you think of where he comes in and those wide areas, Doku continuing to improve. Semenyo, who was wanted to leave and there was interest in his summer, but Pep Guardiola convinced him to stay. And now, so is he the one to miss out? It's just so many players in those attacking positions that Pep Guardiola has at his disposal. I'm not sure that Semenyo going there fits in as easily as Jules is saying. I don't think he gets ahead of Doku as easily as Jules is saying. So if I'm Semenyo and I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the options I have, and I'm thinking, where do I get in and get in easily and be fairly consistent starter, and there's a realistic chance of lifting silverware sooner rather than later. Right now, for me, that's Liverpool.
I mean, the place you could say, where do I get in easily, is Man United. But you're not going to Man United ahead of the other teams. And Liverpool is absolutely perfect for them. I mean, whether it was Diaz before he left, you've got Gakpo on the left, you've got Mo Salah on the right. They're all about going at defenders and running at teams. That's not Man City. Yes, you see sometimes Semenyo doing it, and yes, you see Doku going at people in the box. But up until that final third, it's about possession, it's about keeping the ball. It's not about going at the opposition with pace. That's what suits Semenyo. So I'm with Shaka. I think Liverpool's his best spot.
Yeah, let's not forget, this is Pep Guardiola we're talking about. And as we've seen in the past, Marmoush, I think, being probably the best example just a year ago or so, pretty much, of this guy was doing really well. City were maybe not completely clicking. Same with Kusanov at the back. And they go and spend 200 million for 3 players in January, and those players are nowhere near the first team right now. Vitor Reis, Kusanov and Marmoush arrived a year ago in January last year, January 2025 this year, but a year ago, and they're nowhere near that first team 11 right now. Sometimes they don't even make the bench. This is Manchester City and Pep Guardiola through the last 10 years since he arrived. We all know this. And Semenyo, whether we think he's better than Doku or not, or can play on the right-hand side, which is true, is just another option for Guardiola. It's an expensive option at £65 million that might not play every single minute of every single game, but this is what Guardiola does. So those expensive signings that he's made, so many of them, even if they don't play that much. So it's just another option. I think City was certainly more keen than Liverpool, for example, and pushing it already further with Semenyo's agent than Liverpool have ever done so far. So that's why I think they've got the advantage. But I'm not surprised really that Guardiola and City want him, because again, I think there's a lot of his abilities that will suit City right now, especially since Pep Linders has joined the technical staff. But all the points that we've also made with the boys are also very valid. Do they actually really need him?
Would you like to add anything, Frank?
Yes, Stevie said that I would be that he was very rational talking about Semenyo going to Liverpool. Well, if you are the board of Liverpool spending 400 million last summer, do you really want to spend 65 other million to see maybe somebody suiting the team and the Arne Slot tactic? I think they won't take the risk. I really think that they won't take the risk. They spend enough money to make sure that Slot can deal with the player that he had in charge and in disposal. And Semenyo, I don't see Semenyo coming to Liverpool. I mean, we don't see Liverpool spending lots of money. This summer, or last summer, they spent crazy money like we never seen that. It doesn't work. So do you really think that they're going to spend other money? I don't think so.
To that point, and I'm with Stevie here. I mean, while you're right, Frank, Liverpool spent an awful lot of money last summer. All of a sudden, 6 months on, we're not really quite sure whether Mo Salah is going to be, where he's going to be playing come the end of January. We know for sure that Alexander Isak is out. As much as Arne Slot is saying for a few months, I have my suspicions that he may not contribute significantly till maybe right at the back end of the season at absolute best. So now there's a need. There's a need in a season that things have kind of, despite the spending, or maybe because of the spending, have come apart quite quickly.
Yeah, they need him now, and they need him for the future. Mo Salah, I mean, I honestly believe that Mo Salah will be gone in the summer. They can't afford to let him go right now. And Semenyo can come in now and play. And you look at all the signings, yes, right now, things are not going well for anybody, pretty much. But then you've got to look, what are we going to be talking about in 12 months' time? 6 months' time at the start of next season? You know, this will not continue, how bad Liverpool are. And Semenyo is the future. If you sign him now, and it might sound, OK, they spent a lot of money, but 65 million? Let's be honest, they could probably recoup most of that if they sell Mo Salah in the summer to Saudi Arabia. So, to me, absolutely, go and get Semenyo.
OK, so that's Antoine Semenyo, but we must talk about Bruno Fernandes as well, because meanwhile, over at Manchester United, they know that they will be without such a key player to their team, Bruno Fernandes, for at least a little while. What's the latest on it, Jules?
Yeah, we believe a few weeks. It could be up to 4 weeks, I think, a month. And it's the worst time, obviously, to get injured because the festive period is so busy. United are playing on Boxing Day. It's the only game that we have on Boxing Day. Then you play again on the 30th. Then you play again on the 3rd. Then you play again the week after that. Then there will be the FA Cup. As you see here, the schedule. And in what usually 4 weeks could mean just missing 4 games, for example, because they're not in Europe. Then you look already at a whole month from, let's say, the 22nd to the 22nd, and it's not just 4 games, it's potentially 8 games that you could miss out. So it's a lot when you know how instrumental and important he is to this Manchester United team. The fact that, yes, there's a transfer window, but we're not really sure exactly what United are going to do in this transfer window. Certainly, it's not now that you spend 100 million on Wharton or Anderson or Baleba, whoever is the midfielder that you want, that you need badly to strengthen your midfielder and maybe push Bruno a bit higher up on the pitch. That's not going to happen in January. So at the time where you need him so much and so badly, that's when he's going to be missing.
Yeah, there will be more on Bruno Fernandes coming up on tomorrow's show, so make sure to join